Grand final time, ladies and gentlemen. Ryzing Gaming going up against Epikk, and this is actually a best of 5. Looking at Tomb of a Spider Queen, our first map here. And since there is still a little bit of confusion about the drafts, these games are for once actually casted from replays because they didn't cast them live when they happened at that time. So unfortunately the drafts are not included in the replay files. Therefore we're focusing on the games themselves. So a lot more game action for you, but at the same time missing a little bit of the strategic element. Don't worry, soon enough we're gonna head straight into that live content again, and then we're gonna go over those drafts in detail. But for the time being, Ryzing Gaming on the left with Blank on Phoenix. We have Khaldor on Greymane, Zotti on Jaina, Khaldor on Imperius, and Dakba on Malfurion. Wit on Anubarak. On the other side here though, we have Zervas on Hanzo, Kupshi on Ana, Born on Thrall, and Tali on Leoric, as we're heading into the first game of the best of 5 series right here. To the Spider Queen, so again a little bit of a chance of momentum train hitting hard here. Phoenix actually heading into the advanced targeting as his level 1. Ryzing Gaming so far had only to play a single map in the tournament. It was a little bit of a scoot bracket here because of the seeding that the teams headed into. And this is the Division 1 Cup, so it's not the actual league play for Division 1, but the Cup seeding is based on the performance throughout the season. And for Ryzing Gaming and Menaldor's Meme Machine, that meant that they were already headed into the winner bracket. So with Menaldor's Meme Machine losing to Ryzing Gaming, they dropped into the losers bracket, or the lower bracket in that case, where we had Epikk with a pretty epic run so far. They made it all the way to the grand final. So that's where we have that slight advantage for Ryzing Gaming heading into this with that added benefit. And we're gonna find out who's gonna be the champion of the Division 1 season here. Bottom of the map, actually having Leoric here. I mean, the first thing that you really notice with those drafts is that we're having a massive melee commitment from Epikk. They're running Thrall, they're running Leoric, they have Anubarak with us. Talking Anubarak, he's already in the mid lane here. Whereas on the other side, we're actually seeing very little of that. It's actually pretty shocking to see the big differences between those two team compositions. Because not only do we have a 3 melee setup with a main tank and 2 offlaners, but we have at the same time a solo tank Imperius on the side of Ryzing Gaming with a triple melee, a triple range backline. And that is actually something that we haven't seen for a long time. Back at the beginning of Heroes in particular, it was basically the quick match and Hero League wisdom that you have to play 3 damage dealers and only a main tank, and only the competitive scene back then figured out that 3 backliners are actually a horrible idea, and that you always want to run either a double tank or a tank and an offlaner, a proper melee assassin. And it took years actually for that meta to finally arrive in Quick Match and Hero League as well. But every now and then, even in the competitive scene, we've still seen teams try and run triple backline, and the results were usually very predictable. It backfired horribly. Still can work in certain circumstances on the other hand. You have of course a couple of advantages running a triple backline. You have a lot of burst damage that you can use to burn a target down. But just from a sustainable teamfight perspective, having a triple backline turned out to be not really sustainable as a rule of thumb in general. But maybe Ryzing Gaming has an opportunity here to prove that it's still to some extent viable and allows them to take down Epikk in the first game. And it really depends on how the engagements work. If especially Khaldor with his lunge is able to get the spear connected, and then Jaina follows up with the damage and Greymane, then you can burn a target down very quickly. And if you have those quick burst kills, then you're all of a sudden looking at a 4 versus 5 that can allow you to really run this properly. So especially after level 10, if we see the Cursed Bullet, even with Go for the Throat, whenever we're having a setup where Imperius can get the lunge connected, Malfurion follows it up with a root, you can get those quick kills. But if the damage output on Imperius is already so strong that he's low before the fight even starts, then your backline is completely open. And that would allow the red team to really exploit that. But of course, if you have an objective that runs a lane down, then you have a lot of damage output with it. If you have to defend against an objective, the triple backline is going to help you to burn those opponents' web weavers down very quickly. This is just like a little bit of a sum up here when it comes to those setups. With that said though, early game, level 7, a little bit earlier for Ryzing Gaming, but as you can see, there's not really too much of a difference right now since we don't even have a single kill yet. We're having on level 7 the Wizened Duelist for Greymane, so trying to get that extra damage out. And there's the Red Web Weaver turn in as we have Leori committed at the bot lane, and no interrupt in this case from Phoenix. So the first Web Weaver's coming down, and that's an opportunity for Epikk to get a bit ahead with this. The fight is starting, and Greymane? Greymane is down. Ooh, and Uburak, if they can get the counter kill, it would be fantastic, but they cannot quite hit it. And that is starting to become a problem. Greymane is one of the best wave clearers that they currently have, which means that this defense is going to be a bit more tricky. Obviously, it was still an early game kill, so the death timers are fairly low, and he will be able to rejoin the team in a few. But still, this is going to make the defense a little more iffy for them. And already the push in the middle up to the top lane. Hanzo, bottom of the lane, Leoric. And they're starting to go for the turrets. Well, normally you're not quite able to take down a fort with this, but even just breaking through the walls is oftentimes worth it. Top lane pressure against Jaina herself, as Zotti is still sitting on 19 gems and has to be careful it doesn't eat too much damage here. The wall has been broken through. In the middle we have at least one tower eliminated. And down to the bottom of the map, ooh, Leo missing the drain. It's always bad for Leoric. Actually might even die here. Tali barely gets out. It was a close call. Fight over here. And again, Kragoral. Oh, the Imperious. Oh, Greymane is down. Greymane down. Casterat might also fall here. Yeah, there's a lot of poke, a lot of damage output, and now we have 3 kills against a 0. So far, the strategy with the triple backline doesn't work out for Epikk. And obviously, another big problem that you have in these setups is every single death also takes gems away from you if your teammates can't recover them. And unfortunately for Ryzing Gaming, that means that they are now roughly 30 gems behind. Already lost those. That's a pretty big issue. But the walls are over down. There's a level 10. And to be absolutely honest, that should mean Web Weaver wave number 2. They don't have the numbers just yet. They're still 10 away. But they have half a level to really just play around that. And already the massive pings, as we have Inuburak setting up the kill at the top. Oh my god! Okay, I'm a little bit surprised that they don't guard those gems better, but holy shit, they really put everything on her. I mean, entombing the cocoon and then also throwing the arrow up. I'm not quite sure what Jaina did. Maybe she slept with Inuburak's brother? I don't know, but whatever happened there, there's definitely a personal grudge that we just saw. That was nasty if you ask me. Holy cow. They really hate her, don't they? Big kill for sure. And now nearly a completion on the second Web Weaver wave. Now Jaina is of course on her way back. But now we have level 10 versus 10. And there's the setup. We've been talking about this earlier. Ring of Frost could also be used here. Not really seen that yet. Still trying to zone them out. As Akbar is trying to get his 27 secured. And if he gets that, then they're close. Ooh, and ooh, goes in. And the kill against Jaina. The counter kill maybe? Yeah, Nubarak falls too, but so does Greymane. And it looks like we're going to see Malfurion drop too. Another triple kill. Well, make that a... just as I want to say, make that a quad kill. Casterat just lunges away from it. So yeah, actually not too bad. I mean, 7 kills against 1. Yes, they couldn't stop Malfurion from the turn-in, but then they got the kills afterwards. And now the Red Web Weavers are going to be moving onto the lanes again. And of course, with all the power that they have right now and even the experience lead here, they might even get into level 13 in time to really use that and push that out even more. But this is starting to get nasty now for Ryzing Gaming. And again, Ryzing Gaming only had to play a single match in the Division 1 Cup. Epikk, they made their way through the lower bracket here and did a great job taking all of their opponents down, and they are currently trying to continue that streak. A start with a first win into that best of 5 here would be fantastic for them, of course. Yeah, level 13 talents are nearly there, and they're already trying to make their play. Here comes a lunge, immediately the root on the ground, but Inuburak is still absolutely fine. And now they have the 13 talents, and they can use that too. We're definitely going to see a fort in the mid lane fall. Bottom of the map, Hanzo is also starting to push. The towers are eliminated, and he might even get the fountain if he focuses on that. And we're seeing Thrall with a rotation topside, even though Greymane took down the Web Weaver. Can still poke a little bit here. And they're committing a very, very quick attack in full engage down to the bottom of the map to drop fort number 2. And yep, that one is going to fall as well. Great setup. Yeah, for sure. Ryzing Gaming in a bit of trouble. They need to turn in, but they also don't want to fight against level 13. The old problem. They can get a kill through the triple damage. That might be great for them. But they are struggling. Maybe now? Yeah, that should be a kill. Yeah, Tali. Oh my god. Leo survives and Greymane dies again. Ladies and gentlemen, a perfect example why it is difficult to make a triple backline with a solo frontliner work. Right now, heavy engage, the triple melee is rocking it hard. Down goes Jaina, 9 kills against 1. And we have a massive momentum swing here for the red team. Epikk with a couple of epic fights, epic engagements here too. 29,000 damage now on Hanzo's side, and they're starting to push the top lane where the last remaining fort currently stands. And by the way, this all means that there's also no fountains anymore in the middle of the map. Nothing for Ryzing Gaming. Epikk opens the map up. They themselves still have fountains on every single lane. And of course they're working on getting more gems together so that they can go for the turn-in. Oh, yeah, Blank. Nice job on the dodges here. Very well done, but you really need to be careful. I think if a Nubarak would have been a little bit more confident that they could have gotten him, he would have just dropped the cocoon. 29 gems, it's tempting. I mean, that's the moment when you're really tempted. When you're looking at this, you know, saying, guys, if we can just get him, the game is pretty much over, then they don't have any gems anymore. But since we're talking about gems, keep in mind that the blue team hasn't had a single turn-in yet. Not one. They had 49 ever since Malfurion got rid of those 29 gems that he had, I think. But now with level 15 was 13, there's the engage against Leo again, and he goes away. Moves away, easy peasy, and another web weaver wave for the red team as they had at the top Hanzo turning in. And now we're seeing the third web weaver wave in a row here on the side of Epikk. Ryzing Gaming is for sure in trouble. They still have their gems though. If they can turn those in, that might be the ticket back into this. But the problem, of course, is that level 16 talents are very, very close now for Epikk. And once that they can rely on those, they might have a chance of just absolutely obliterating their opponent in a team fight. And if you lose the gems here, then, of course, Ryzing Gaming's chances of making it back into the game would be slim to none. And this is pretty much the setup that we're currently seeing. 16 is ready, 5 men is already moving through. Top 4 should at least fall. Bot lane is getting attacked here. It really just depends what Epikk is going to settle for. And it looks like they're saying for now, okay, we're going to go for the fort. Are they? Well, Leo is moving out, stayed a little bit long here. The Beetle was soaking a lot of the damage, but now Lubarak had to sacrifice a cooldown here. Sorry, Leoric. Bot lane defense still. And what are they going to do? They open up the mid lane a little bit. Not really too much value here from Epikk. They at least get the fort. I mean, this is the minimum, right? This is the bare minimum right here. You need to go straight in. Need to make sure that you're going to get that. And, yeah, see what exactly... how exactly this is going to run here for you. 16 talents, going to be great for it. Try and deny the turn into your opponent. But I gotta admit that I feel Epikk should have been able to get a bit more out of this web weaver wave. But they got some damage out of it, don't get me wrong, it's not like they didn't achieve anything. They at least opened in the middle up a little bit and put band damage onto the bottom of the map as well, even though it's not a lot. They pushed the lanes out with it, they got the fort in the top lane. But I think if they would have pushed a little bit more aggressive after 16, they might have just been able to get the wall in the middle or the bot completely. Now, still trying to turn in what they have. I mean, it's 30 gems, so you might as well, right? If you fall, if you lose 1 or 2 of your heroes in the next team fight, you at least want to make sure that you have all of those gems secured and safe. But it's still a 2-level lead, and there's still zoning happening. They're still playing for the later stages, yeah? Yeah, there's the cocoon, trying to make that play, but no Phoenix, and trying to lock down at least Imperius, but they can't really get too much yet. That's a little bit tricky. They're really trying to fight. Ryzing Gaming is trying to turn in, but they don't really want to fight right now. They're trying to just like stall this out a little bit more, wait for their own level 16 talent, but it's pretty much an experience battle. You could argue that for Epikk it would have maybe made sense to focus onto the boss instead, but they're still busy around those heroes. They're trapping Jaina, they're setting it up, and they're going for it. Yeah, there's the arrow. 3 already hit. Jaina at the bottom is about to go down, and there's a lot of gems already lost right there. They're trying to recover a few. Might be able to get some, yeah, but not all of them. And Jaina's death, of course, just leads to an even bigger lead in experience. But now the gem count is down to 70, which still means you have theoretically 2 turn-ins in a row for Ryzing Gaming. That's not nothing. That's enough to start a comeback if you're able to put it off. But you have still to consider that with 10 kills against 1, there is a significant advantage for Epikk, not only in hero experience, but also in the way that they are running this right now in regards to, yeah, gems lost. Oh, the blind tunnel. Still the cocoon being used. Are they able to get a kill here? I doubt it. Maybe? Nah. Well, he can warp away. Oh no, he can't if he's locked down, and that's the kill right there. And that's bad news, because the turn-in that was at least great from him, but now they lost Phoenix, and there's a massive issue. They're gonna lose more, aren't they? Oh my god, 20 HP as Kragral gets out, but the Web Weavers are of course just burned to a crisp here, and we are looking at level 18, nearly 19 on the side of Epikk. They're burning the Web Weavers down. They're actually taking down the immediate moves here from Ryzing Gaming whenever they make one. Web Weavers get turned in, bam, Phoenix gets dropped, Web Weavers get eliminated, don't even push the lanes out properly, and now we're having them on 19 with nearly enough gems to get a turn out themselves. This is just getting absolutely ridiculous here. Jeez. Ryzing Gaming came into this probably feeling pretty good. I mean, they came in as the favorite in this best of 5. And all of a sudden, here on map number 1 at least, they get totally destroyed. There's another Web Weaver wave now on the side of Epikk, and Epikk is going to try and get the most out of this one. It's still 16 versus 16 in terms of talents, but of course the stats advantage alone on the heroes are massive boon for Epikk for the next team fight. And if they drop a hero or two, they are looking at 20. I mean, right now, you want to have a keep. You want to have a keep for sure. If you can get a kill, then hell yeah. Imperia is already down to 50% health. That's not really where you want your main tank to be if you're playing a solo tank in the game and rely on triple range backlines. Yeah, that is not looking pretty at all. And here comes the push, and look at the experience. It's glorious so far, but yep, there's the kill. Finally the setup. Finally Ryzing Gaming gets that combo that I've been highlighting at the beginning of the game. Is that going to be enough though? 20 is now there. They have 20 now, and they're starting to poke in the middle. We have Greymane at the bottom of the map dealing with the Web Weavers. But the Storm Talons give them again an advantage. But with the Nubarak down, that is a problem. And they do not get a keep. They open the walls, they open all of them. The gates are down, some of the turrets have fallen too. But this is definitely... Oh my god, they're actually going for it with the 20s. They're making the play. Greymane, the lunge on Thrall. Jaina isn't here yet. It's a 4 versus 4 with a 20 advantage. But yep, that's the kick. Oh my god, Anna. Oh god, just as they think they have another kill against Leoric, Anna just turns around, she's like, pew! 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 And heals Leo up again. That must feel bad. I mean, there's a chance for another turn-in right now on Ryzing Gaming's side. The problem is it should be an easy defense even if the Web Weavers come down because of that Storm Talon advantage now that Nubarak is back. Yeah, and we're having that camp over here taken too, and obviously they already have to retreat and first defend the fort, the keep. But look where those Web Weavers are going to spawn. All of these lanes are pushed out. And now we're having already camp in the middle that's going to deal with one Web Weaver. They're starting to make their play right here. And yeah, like, I don't know. It's a trap! It's a trap! No, Furion. Dakba Akbar, it's a trap, and yep, it is, my friend, and there's the Buried Alive. The Cocoon on Malf, counteracting Tranquility, there's the kill, and Thrall, oh my god, kills Phoenix, who nearly survived, but then the tick of damage through the Ancestral Wrath drops him finally. Web Weavers are still being defended against down at the bottom of the map where Hanzo rotated over, but here in the middle it's a very different story. Here is where we're seeing Ryzing Gaming currently desperately defending, but of course that keep is an absolute goner. Won't be able to do anything about that. The aggression in the back as they go for Zoti. Oh, Jaina with a Ring of Frost, barely surviving here, but the same cannot be said of the keep itself, which has already fallen. Hanzo is now also back to business. But they take down the keep and they don't really make any big moves. Now again, you have to remember there's always a chance to come back. The big play right now for Ryzing Gaming is stall this out, don't die against 20. When we're looking over to Epikk, right now you want to make the play for boss. You have Hanzo in your midst already, so you want to either set up a trap here or you want to commit to boss. In an ideal world, you kind of do both a little bit. Once that a hero shows bot lane, they should really go for it and go for boss here. You have still an entire level where you have elite in talents, and you need to somehow use that. And currently they're trying to bait their opponent up top, which is exactly what we're seeing here. Massive commitment and time to say goodbye. Arrivederci, Imperius. He's down, no chance, buried alive. Right into Anuburak stuns, and then of course also Hanzo. And yep, that's the end of Anuburak, that's the end of Phoenix. And now they're starting to make the immediate move straight for the boss, as they should. And damn son, Epikk with a couple of epic moves in this game, and the team composition of Ryzing Gaming just didn't work out, let's be honest here. Ryzing Gaming couldn't really do anything else. I mean, the one thing that he could have tried is maybe not lead the charge with Imperius, but Moonfire the bush with Malfurion. The problem is if he gets close enough to that, can you really dodge it? Can you really dodge that when Leo moves in, drops the buried alive, the cocoon comes out? It is tricky. It's really not easy. You have a massive disadvantage without level 20 talents, and by now of course they have them. The problem is that it shouldn't matter anymore because that keep is just going down like melted cheese, and we have now the core on the agenda for Epikk. They're making the play again, the massive setup against Imperius. Leo dies first though, and Anuburak barely gets away. They might actually hold this for a little bit longer. Look at that, Anuburak is dead. Double kill, and yes, the core is losing some hit points, but they're gonna hold this. They're actually going to hold this. Ryzing Gaming is still in the game. Look at that! They nearly got the Imperius kill, but this time there was just a sliver of damage missing, and all of a sudden Ryzing Gaming has a bit of momentum. If you know that you should have lost the game right then and there, and you somehow survived and were able to kill 2 heroes with that, then you know, guy, it's time to go. It's time to go. You have to ride that momentum. The pain train is coming, and the pain train has to hit hard, or you won't be able to gain that momentum back. 2 keeps are already down. Ryzing Gaming, they need to snowball this a little bit. Try to take the fort down. Try to get a kill with it. Stagger deaths on your opponent's side if you can, and they're moving into the middle. They take the fort. Top lane pushing already with the catapults, obviously. But they're trying to make a play here. 46 gems for them. It's all that they have. None of these 2 teams is close to getting another turn in here. But of course the camps on the map are now a big, big issue. And for Epikk, it's really just a moment to just take a breath. As we would say in Germany, locker durch die Hose atmen. Take a deep breath. Don't throw. And just play calm and collected. But as you can imagine, Ryzing Gaming has definitely tasted some blood in the water here. 4 kills against 15. You want to make sure that you get another kill or 2 and snowball that again. But obviously those kill commands that we saw on the side of Epikk have so far done fantastic. If they get another good engage with Leoric, and let's be honest, Leoric actually did a fantastic job with those buried alives. He is pretty much hitting everything he is going for. So once that they're able to get another kill in, that is going to turn real quickly. So the big objective from Ryzing Gaming needs to be to not lose a hero to that snipe combo that is being thrown against them time after time. And they're already playing a very, very passive style here, and they know they have to. Defend, don't expose yourself, don't give them an opening. And Epikk is just sitting there, like, they're just sitting there, just like saying, like, come. We know you have to come out eventually. Come out and play. So far, nobody wants to come out and play. We don't have the Stitches on the other side. He's always up for playtime, but not so Imperius. Nope. That will eventually become a little bit of an issue. I mean, they're having no vision on the map. They're just letting the lanes push out. That can become a massive problem. And there's the small move out. All that they have to do is get a little bit of wave clear in the middle, where we have seen Grey Mane. Tower goes down at the bottom. They can always save Leoric. I mean, he can always ghost away. The chances of you dropping him quickly without him having an opportunity to move out are slim to none. But it's still, I mean, Epikk is very well in the know that if they screw this up and they lose another hero or two, that mid lane is opening up. And that might be the end of the game. So they know that too. It's 20 versus 20. So they have the upper hand, and there's continuous macro pressure through the lanes against Ryzing Gaming, which gives a massive advantage to Epikk, but they still haven't won the game yet. And 1 or 2 mistakes and you're just doomed. So there's just a lot of poking happening here. And a lot of that is going to change once that we're seeing the boss back up on the map, and that's in 50 seconds. All of a sudden you have another focus point to take care of. And the problem with that is, if they move towards the boss and they still have vision of Ryzing Gaming here in the middle, they can just simply snipe it. So with that said, they already take the camps away. They're pushing that through the middle and looking for a kill. As long as you have the spell aura, you're totally willing to make a play here. Spell aura is fantastic. You're trying to make a play around that, and they're already looking for an opportunity to get that kill. Use the spell aura as much as you can. Try and force it. I love how Ryzing Gaming is playing this very calm and collected, but eventually they have to engage. The spell aura is gone, and now you need to get away from this. Now you lost your advantage. Yeah, it's a really nice back and forth. I actually like it. It's very tense, and Ryzing Gaming, after having a lot of problems in the early and the mid game, once they hit 20, they were all of a sudden saying, okay, we can still do this. But now you're looking at the boss top lane, and you control vision. Epikk controls the vision on the map. So as long as they don't show, and the lanes push in this heavily, they can rotate towards the top, they can make a play for the boss, or at least attempt to, and they're also getting closer to turn-ins, of course. Alright, here's the vision, here's the engage. That didn't do enough, that is not enough, that's an entomb, and that's an arrow, and now all of a sudden the shit is hitting the fan. Malfurion is down, so is Leoric though. Anubarak is dead too, but we see Imperius fall and Greymane as well. And when the shit hits the fan, everybody gets dirty. Jaina is also eliminated, and Phoenix is getting wrecked. It's a 5-man team wipe as we have Epikk moving on to the core and eager to win this first game. No one around anymore on the other side. 3 heroes still in play with 50-40 seconds on the timer. This is Epikk taking game number 1 in this best of 5 grand final of the Division 1 Cup. GG and well played as Epikk claims victory. Game number 2, everybody. Ryzing Gaming got a bit of a beating in game number 1. Granted, towards the late game, they actually started to make a bit of a comeback happen, but Epikk was not deterred. They won the first map, they won on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and heading into the second map, into Dragonshire, we have on the left Kragoral on Thrall, Dakbar on Rhaegar, Blank with Consume Vitality on 1 with Leoric, Zoti on Hanzo, and Khaldor on Muradin. And towards the right, Epikk running the global on the map with Talia on Dehaka, Kupshi on Tyrande, double global with Born on Falstad, Zervas on Junkrat, and Wit this time on Imperius. Alright, double global strategy with a wingman focus on level 1. Pretty interesting for sure. So this is going to be an interesting game. If you play the macro game completely, the double global is going to allow you to do a lot of work there in the later stage of the game, once the forts are down in particular and you open the map up a little bit. Obviously, there's a bit of a momentum train, theoretically, on the side of Ryzing Gaming that they could use. But still, I kind of like the setup that we have here. Next to the double global, you also have a lot of vision that is provided, and a lot of poke from a distance, especially around Zervas. I gotta admit that I kinda like what Epikk has been done throughout the entire tournament here. I mean, they've been playing this extremely well. They really put a lot of thoughts into their drafts, and they played great games so far. Now, can they make that work with the double global? That's, of course, a bit the question here. Because if you're really relying with double global on heavy macro game, and not simply on trying to create teamfight opportunities where you have a numeric advantage and then get a quick kill, then you have to have real good coordination. And that's the one thing that I'm interested in. Are they just simply going to use the Dehaka and Falstad setup to get kills by offsetting lane balance? Or are they going to try and look for the late game and play around the opponent with a macro style? Both of them require good coordination on their end. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how much they can do with this. Especially Wingman, of course, as a level 1 talent, allows you to be very aggressive around those mercenary camps later on. And that's something that I'm watching out for. But yeah, top lane, this is where we already have Blank attacked a bit. And this is the setup. You can have Dehaka, for example, now burrow down to the bottom of the map, trying to do a little bit of damage there. And then instead of losing experience topside, you can also fly with Falstad towards the top. And Falstad can make similar plays. He can fly to the top, try and offset the balance here. Dehaka then can rotate down. We've seen all kinds of variation with double global in the past. Even having two globals on the same lane and then rotating away from that can work. And there's already exactly that setup. Flies onto the shrine, tries and take this, and Dehaka in the meantime can defend. So now, despite the fact that the Bruiser camp was taken earlier from Ryzing Gaming, they can't really capitalize on it properly because the global is put into play, and now their own camp in exchange is supposed to do a lot more damage here. It's already a decent setup. Now, of course, we're having in the middle of the map an engage happening because, oh, that triple stun from Kupshi. Nice, Lunar Flare. But yeah, that puts us into a position where we're all of a sudden having a bit of an opportunity for the blue team to get a kill elsewhere. But it has so far been shut down because Epikk is rotating around it really, really nicely. So yeah, this is actually a really cool setup. And now the top lane needs some defense as well. Yes, just too much damage. If you have the Bruiser camp against you and potentially two globals, you need to be careful. And now the pressure here at the bottom. Rotation is going to be there soon, but Falstad and Dehaka will be ready for this. This is already dangerous for the blue team. If you are committing to this, then you just ask your opponent to move in. And there's already the first stun. Dehaka is not quite coming in, but Falstad is definitely there. There's Dehaka. Tries to get the drag, and yeah, they don't connect anything here. But the cap is taken, and now obviously the question still is who's soaking the experience topside. Someone has to go in. Falstad could fly over, but Blank is using that opportunity to get some damage in. And as expected, Falstad with a fly. Very little experience lost, but of course one of the towers still goes down. But the value at the bottom of the map is in their hands. They go for it, take one down. Thrall completes his own quest. Has now the double, actually one of the quests still is working on the Frostwolf pack. But yeah, double global already getting a bit of value before we even have an opportunity for them to take the forts down, get value through that. Muradin attacked in the middle as he's trying to prevent the Dragonite from being taken. That's a lot of damage here, but I would be surprised if Wit can get the 3k, and it was a lot closer than I thought, to be honest. Bot lane was the first one to take control of the shrine again. Top lane shortly after was also able to pull the same thing off. But yep, there we go. Top lane pressure in the meantime against Mr. Swiffer himself. Good old Leoric, Mr. Clean, trying to take care of the top lane, take the trash out there. So far not quite successful with this. Born still gets the damage through. Full lightning rod build, of course, after Wingman, as we see these days traditionally. And a standard build, by the way, also for Imperius, in case you haven't seen it yet. Burn the Impure on level 1, straight into the Battle Hunger for the extra self-sustain on level 4, and Holy Fervor on level 7. Totally standard build. I mean, this is pretty much the build that we see on Imperius in this role these days. Yeah, again, Muradin trying to jump out here, but the damage is actually pretty solid right now. I'm actually a bit terrified for Ryzing Gaming, because so far it really feels like the game is going the way of Team Epikk, even though we haven't seen a single kill yet, simply because they have these strong rotations going the entire time. They steal, again, the shrine away, and the big thing is that Ryzing Gaming I don't think is ever going to get a Dragonite unless they get kills. They need to get kills. With all the roaming around that we're seeing right now and the mobility, you need to get kills if you want to make a play there. And so far we haven't seen a kill, already 5.5 minutes in. But if you look at the camps on the map, then it is definitely, yeah, it's pretty much Epikk running the show with that. Already putting the pressure onto the bottom of the map, breaking through the gate and starting to even drop the tower here. So that's gonna hurt too. They're getting really, really close of dropping this one. Yep, second one is down. Now bot lane pressure once more. Tens are gonna change now. Tens are gonna change the dynamic a little bit for sure. But still, Falstad is already at the top, getting the damage in here again. Still claims this. In the middle we have the fight with Dehaka. He's of course gonna be eager to get that Dragonite, but with the bot lane now taking a bit more priority, that's not happening anytime soon. Level 10 is also slightly faster for Ryzing Gaming. Allows them to have a tiny momentum here. Doesn't last for long. Good move here from Dehaka, from Junkrat as well. Taking those two Siege Knights out very, very easily. Very little damage taken. But now, with Dehaka mid lane, there's a level 10 first of all. can't really do anything too quickly here. I mean, Muradin with Avatar. You have Leo, of course, with the Entomb, and on 20 that's going to become extremely dangerous. But for now, it should be okay, because you have a lot of heroes that can move away from that. Exception maybe being Tyrande a bit. If you catch her, then she's going to be in a lot of trouble. But it's going to be a very similar setup to what we've seen in the last game with, yep, Entomb straight into it. Yep, there's the Wrath on Muradin, though. They're trying to get the quick kill with the Riptire, but didn't get that at all. Now the Haka is in, which makes it a 5 versus 4, and here's the kill against Thrall. Numeric advantages on the map, exactly as we said before. But I love this combo. We've seen the Riptire being used after the Wrath on Imperius so many times now in the past, and the combo is so powerful. Not quite against Muradin, who they couldn't take down here, but in general it is an incredibly sexy setup. This is also a pretty cool move, even though it was close. If Leoric finds that early as they're seeing a move in, then that would be an issue. But yeah, dude, you can't fight that. Not with the camp being there. You can't really fight that. You need to be careful with this. But it's a nice steal away that we have. And now, thanks to the kill, the single kill in the game, by the way. They got one Bruiser camp, they take another here, they have a lot of pressure. And I mean, good luck defending against Dragonite now. You pretty much need to get the kill in the middle. And they're close, they might actually get it. And they do. Yes, nice. Ryzing Gaming. They know exactly what's up. They know what's coming, and they're making the play, but they're still losing a lot of ground here. They're losing the fountain at the bottom of the map. Up to the top, we've already seen a bit of pressure through the Haka. There's a slight lead in experience, but it's really the structural advantage that's the most noteworthy right now, opening all of this up. But I love that Ryzing Gaming detected very, very quickly that they need to position themselves in the middle, wait for the rotation towards the Dragonite, and get a kill, or they won't be able to prevent the Dragonite from being grabbed. So that was really well done by them. And now, of course, the big question. Are we going to see another kill over here? Falstad. Oh, yeah, likely Thrall in range, and the Ancestral keeps him in play, despite the fact that Imperius got the lunge. The rest of the team is pretty low, though. Keep in mind that the Haka did actually not move in for this one. But yeah, I simply love Imperius ult. I mean, to be honest, let's be honest, it's one of the most awesome heroic abilities in the game, because it's, yes, it kind of degrades Imperius a little bit, because like from a mighty warrior, he's pretty much simply degraded to a delivery boy working for Postmates, but it's still absolutely awesome when you see those kills opportunities delivered. It's in the end, it's a glorified hook, but it's pretty sexy. I like it. It's like one of those impactful ones, you know, where you get a huge gratification just simply from getting those kills afterwards as well. Blank again, getting some damage out. Drag actually missing. Still a fight here in the middle. Ooh, Khaldor barely missed. That could have been worse for Muradin. Could have definitely fallen. Gust, get the fuck out of my Dragonite. Get the fuck out of my mid lane, dude. That's exactly what Falsa just had in mind. And they get the Dragonite thanks to it. Good Gust creates the space that they needed. Sacrifice the cooldown, get the Dragonite instead. And yep, that works out so far. 13 versus 13 right there. And they're starting to move down to the bottom to see if they cannot maybe get a fort as well. And with that, we are having them right here in full range. Wait for the minions to soak the shots. A bit of damage through. Muradin gets actually delivered here. Falstad is doing fairly well against Thrall here for the start, but Stormbolt, arrow! Oh, dodged by Falstad. That was actually well played by Born. He just dodged that arrow on the last hit, but in the meantime, the Dragonite gets the value right there. Dragonite gets one, and they are starting to make the plays here again. Good start, and the Riptire takes him down. And not only that, he loses all the stacks. Thrall, up to this point, has not been able to complete the stacking process on the Frostwolf pack, and now they lost him too. Another drag against Leoric delivers another kill, and damn, a level ahead, 3 kills against 1. Epikk! Look at this, they're looking strong here. They came, I mean, I don't really want to call them the underdog heading into the series, but the favorite coming from the top part of the bracket was Ryzing Gaming, and now after an initial loss on Tomb of the Spider Queen, we all of a sudden see Epikk in the lead again on map number 2. This could be a 2-0 lead in the best of 5. Epikk is making big arguments right now for them to be the champion of the Division 1 cap here. And their global is working really well. I mean, once again, they're starting to move in towards the top. They have Falstad here. They're pushing the lane out. They're doing really well around this. The double global on a map like Dragonshire can be incredibly difficult to play against if you have an opponent that knows what they're doing. And so far, Epikk has used those well. Good zone coordination, also space creation with Falstad. Rotating with Dehaka, with Falstad, just getting those small advantages that will eventually translate into a big lead and also into an objective. And that's exactly what we saw. 3 kills against 1 Dragon Knight taken, a fort down at the top lane, the fort at the bottom lane destroyed as well. Rotating with the heroes over and getting Falstad in another position to just continuously take those camps here. Chakran wants to jump around a bit too. Falstad himself, by the way, is sitting at 28,000 damage right now. And they're getting another camp at the bottom of the map, so they're taking camps the entire time. And this is actually a scary one, because now they just time the 2 camps together. Which means that they can now, with a level 16 talent advantage, for a little bit longer, push to the bot lane with a Bruiser camp, plus on top of that a Siege Giant camp. And Blank, ooh, the Entomb is good, but he moves out easily, and there's the Gust. Good Gust and the kill. The Ancestral comes too late. The stun, Muradin! Oh, 100 hit points and he survives. Close call. That's a 4 versus 5, by the way, because the Haka is still topside. And with that massive push now with catapults at the bottom too, and of course the spell aura granted through the Bruiser Mage, they're now starting to go for the keep here. Great setup and good coordination here too from Epikk. They are playing this really nicely. The Haka is still top, but they get that fort at the bot lane. They get that keep. Muradin is getting attacked again. Can they have the damage? I don't really think so. Well, maybe quite aiming for him here. But now they need to get out. And we have 5 seconds for Entomb. 5 seconds for the Entomb, but the stun from Tyrande again. Kupshi, calm down, dude. 14 hits from him already, despite the low amount of big fights that we had. But now they're also working on another Dragon Knight. Dehaka, run, little dinosaur, run. It's a little bit too late for that. Falstad, can he gust? Doesn't have the gust ready, but doesn't know if he can quite create enough space. Yeah, he's trying. He's already lining it up, you can tell, but I don't think they can sneak this one in, and not this easily. But the bot lane is still pressuring, and there's still Siege Giants at the bottom of the map, at least one. 18 versus 16. I mean, for Ryzing Gaming, this is the chance to make a comeback. They have 16 talents. Thrall has now Alpha Wolf on 16, but the problem is he never completed his level 4. And the Stormballs are getting dodged over and over again by Born. Only 21 stacks on the side of Muradin, and he just can't get the final ones. Bottom is getting attacked still, but of course catapults are now slowly moving in there. Not really doing too much damage to the core yet, but eventually that's going to change. We're only 14 minutes in, so it doesn't really scale as badly. Yeah, again the attempt. Blank is looking for an Entomb. Needs to be really careful. There's the drag. Gets attacked. Stormball as a turnaround. Blank low. Riptire. Rip. Oh, the arrow. Hits hard, but it doesn't hit hard enough. Down goes Thrall, and now Muradin is in trouble too. He won't be able to jump out of this one. Blank even moving up. Well, there's Rhaegar first of all falling. That's Muradin and Leoric. Yeah, you can ghost away, buddy, but eventually you're gonna die too. 4 heroes down, 8 kills against 1. Oh my god, they kill the 5th one too. Oh, damn, son. And they can just simply go for the core here. They should just go for the core. Yes, 14 minutes in, Dragon Knights, they don't scale that heavily, but still, at that point in time, if you have 4 heroes down, that is just the opening that you need. Go through the bot lane, Keep is already a goner. Death Timers, Thrall back in 5, but what exactly can he do? It's not going to be enough for him. Yep, they go in, and that should be just about it. They get a couple of heroes back, but there's the drag already. They're going straight for Thrall again. He might even die to this, but the core is also falling at the same time. Quickly at that, Epikk in the grand final with a 2-0 lead against Ryzing Gaming, taking a massive lead in this best of 5 series. Game number 3, and possibly the last game in this particular series. We actually have right now Ryzing Gaming down 0-2. When Cursed Hollow here, and Epikk, with the 2 wins that they have, only need another map win to crown themselves the champion of the Division 1 Cup. And to the left side, we're actually seeing Dakba for Ryzing Gaming. On Rega, we have a Kerrigan, ladies and gentlemen, played by Kragoral. Blank on Leoric, Zotti on Kel'Thas, and Khaldor on Imperius. Look at that, they completely reversed the style that they played in game number 1. On the right side of the map, Epikk with Wit on Anubarak, Tali on Arthurs, we have Zervas on Abathar, Born on Greymane, and Kupshi on Medivh. So we actually have the copy potential for Greymane, and we have the assistance. Well, it's basically like one support. You have a pseudo support in the sense of Abathar, and you have another one in the sense of Medivh. Now, obviously, if you're going straight into Carapace build, that can be super strong for Abathar, but still, no traditional full support on their end, but therefore also a lot more damage output. It's just kind of funny to me that when you're looking to Ryzing Gaming, they're playing a completely different style from what we've seen before. Especially when you consider game number 1. They played a solo tank and a triple backline, which lost, and now they're going into triple melee and running only Kel'Thas as a backliner. And you have to consider the amount of CC that we have. I'm not only talking about full... this was actually a pretty cool move. Abathar putting a mine down here to see when exactly the heroes would move in to take the camp. So it doesn't really do anything outside of giving them a bit more information, but every piece of information really helps you. So now they know exactly what their opponent is doing here without having Medivh floating in the area. So kind of interesting to note that. But I was talking about this CC, and every single hero on the side of the blue team actually has some form of CC. Not necessarily a hard stun, but we also have a lot of slows coming through heroes like Leoric and also Rega, of course. And then on top of that, you just add those hard CCs with Kerrigan stuns, with Imperius, with his lunge. So there's a lot of threats that are coming from that combo, if that's being executed properly. But then again, Medivh can negate a lot of that. And this is one of the concerns that I guess Epikk probably, sorry, that Ryzing Gaming probably has, that their combos are going to be negated by Medivh earlier. Medivh, on the other hand, is actually the target of the first aggression here, but so far able to sustain himself through that. Nubarak, then again, he already ate a lot of damage there, and yeah, that doesn't really bode well for later on if they can burst him down that quickly. Obviously, Medivh is going to play a lot around the shield cooldown and try and get that in. Paralyzing range now being used again. We've seen that in the past too, so getting the extra slow in. Personally, not really the biggest fan of the talent. I mean, it really helps you if you want to control movement. It could be a fantastic also against Greymane, obviously. In that setup, you have a scenario in which Greymane has a very tough time on getting the continuous auto attacks in. But I'm a huge fan of either going for Neil Peasants or, depending on how you want to play it, into the Ghastly Reach, so that you have even more synergy between your level 13 and 16 talent, because you get the added synergy through your level 4 for the cooldown reduction. But with that said, outside of those, 10 stacks by now for Medivh, and the first tribute is already announced on the map, so we're going to check that out. Keep in mind, Kerrigan is a hero that really wants to engage and be aggressive, so they're going to be looking for those combos, but yeah. So much of Kerrigan looking for combos. The only one that's looking for a combo there was Epikk, and they got the kill again. This isn't really doing too well for the team in blue at all. That's not how you want to start that game. You're already 0-2 in the series, your opponent is closing in on a full best-of-5 victory, and then the game starts with you losing your melee assassin and is supposed to make the plays here and set you up for kills. So this is not really working out for them. But of course, it's way too early to tell. Again, it's not the end of the game losing a hero there, but it's definitely not what they want to happen. And it puts more pressure onto them when it comes to the next objective. Now that said, they're also running an Abathar composition. An Abathar combo... Ooh, nice! Ooh, nope, that's not a kill. Abathar compositions in the early game oftentimes are a little bit weaker because Abathar does only rely on the symbiote and doesn't have a body out on the map yet, outside of the slug itself, and with body armor only mean that he doesn't have a copy available that he can use later. Yeah, they're going for Kel'Thas. They want the kill there. Nice blocks though, I like it. Zotti gets away. That was a close call. Born nearly was able to close the distance there and get the final hits in. Good portal by Kupshi as well, allowing him to escape, allows him to tap a little bit faster and to re-engage. But the problem is, without the kill, we have now the second tribute for Ryzing Gaming, and that is actually an issue. So I like the thought process here. set up a nice trap against Ryzing Gaming, try and get the kill. But since they didn't get it, they also didn't get the tribute. So now they are down 2 tributes. With Abathur, you oftentimes have to give the tributes up, but your thought process is that you're trying to delay them so that you get level 10 by the time that the 3rd tribute appears on the map, and then you have access to the copy, and then you can really fight for it. But you have to make sure that you also win that battle. So now the situation has definitely changed a little bit. But tribute number 3 is coming up, and as you can tell, there is no level 10 in range at all. Arthas isn't even here yet. He's now starting to make his rotation over, but he still, of course, has 15 seconds, so that's fine. But this is starting to get pretty crazy. I mean, right now, this could already be a massive snowball for Ryzing Gaming. If they win a team fight now and get the curse, ooh, yeah, then Epikk might be in trouble. And that is a nice combo. It's like fantastic combo. Holy shit! Arthas is low and he is down. But we get the counter kill against Kerrigan at least. That might be the turnaround right here. Alright, Abathur going in once again. Everybody low. Another quick setup. Keep also Rhaegar in mind. They have a proper support here, but down goes Imperius. And well, all of a sudden we're seeing Epikk doing epic plays, but with close. Nearly dies here, but nice damage spread from Khaldor. The problem is that still is not enough to keep him alive here. Khaldor is down, and all of a sudden we have a massive amount of kills here for the blue team. And Uburak even senses some blood in the water and gets wrecked. Nice suicide. Uburak committing Sudoku here. Definitely didn't quite help the cause, but he was still able to get the tribute channeled through earlier. And now we have level 10 for them too. Obviously, Abathur in the meantime was still up at the top and just simply kept getting experience for the team. But yeah, Anub was just a little bit too ambitious there. He's like, I got this, boys. Hold my beer. Well, didn't quite turn out that way. Either way, we're having for now Polymorph actually taken. We're also seeing at the same time the level 10 abilities coming in from Ryzing Gaming. And in that case, we have the Maelstrom, we have Ancestral of course. Kerrigan can go a little bit deeper now and will still be safe. Phoenix is being played here. And I would still... Actually, yeah, they switched the talent around for Khaldor, and I like it. Going into the Angelic Armaments here. That's actually pretty sweet. I mean, first, though, that's actually a pretty cool talent to take here, because normally when you want to go into the more aggressive variation on your Heroic, you need follow-up damage, and I just don't see it here. If you have that Tyrannus setup that we've seen previously, it's a different story. Nice shield for Medivh, but he himself is in trouble now. Can't die here, only 31 stacks for him. Need to be careful. Need to be very, very careful here if you are Medivh and lose their cooldown. Nice Ancestral, I like that. And their turnaround. Oh, board is low. Kerrigan wants the play. She should have the combo up in a second. And yep, there it is. Double stun against the front line. And Arthas is dead again. Prince is down once more. Medivh at least completes his quest. Abathur still sitting at the bot lane. There is a reason why Abathur is banned out more or less religiously on Cursed Hollow, and as it is such a big map, he's fantastic with his toxicness to stop rotations, to slow them down, to grant vision. Curse is now being put onto the red team as we're having the push up at the top. Abathur is still getting all the experience for the team, but thanks to those early tributes that were taken by Ryzing Gaming, they have now put the curse on Epikk. They take the experience here, and this is just bad. Bad for Epikk. That's a lot lost. I would have loved for Leo to at least get this wave. This is actually a bit of an upset that he didn't take the experience. It's the one disadvantage of you cursing your opponent, that you are in danger of losing out on lane experience. So that's something that you normally want to take. You want to take that one extra wave. You only have to sit around there for a little bit longer. But they're getting a lot of structural damage done, and that's actually the main thing that they really need to do here. This one in the middle should fall too. They already destroyed the fort at the top lane. Kerrigan's engaged, gets dodged, but it just creates space. So now we have 2 forts down. Experience is still pretty much the same. Leo again with the immediate drain here. Goes away. Okay, and they're trying for the setup. Kerrigan cocooned. Oh, March of the Black King. And they're trying to go for Greymane, and that might actually be a kill. That should be a kill. Rhaegar should be able to close the gap. With Abathur, it's a bit of a different story. Yeah, he's still gonna fall. Greymane, that is. He just can't run away. You can't run away from Rhaegar. That just doesn't happen. Wolf form allows you to always close that gap easily. 4 kills against 4. Dead even game, basically. Outside of the fact, of course, that we have now a structural advantage for Ryzing Gaming. And with them taking down Greymane, Ryzing Gaming makes the play for the boss. And so they should. I mean, they definitely have the opportunity right now to take that. The only question here is, will Epikk try to go for the boss at the top lane? And so far, they have made that rotation too late. Yes, Nuburak checks here what's happening, but it's already so far progressed that they have no opportunity to turn it around and try and take the boss at the top side. So this is very likely going to destroy the fort at the bottom of the map. If not, then it's at least going to severely damage the fort itself. And it of course also creates more space on the map where we have an immediate rotation towards the top by Ryzing Gaming. Good check of the bush, making sure nobody's in there, and now they can make a play for the boss. They're only going to make that play though if they see heroes at the bottom of the map, and currently there's no one. Well, actually, scratch that. They don't care at all. They still go in. That's a bit of a ballsy move without any vision whatsoever, making a boss commitment. Right, they're moving away from it. Oh, I expected them to only make a play when they see someone at the bottom of the map, because then they are aware that there can't be a rotation quickly enough to threaten them here. But that's not the case. Boss at the bot lane still gets the fort, and that's all that counts. And over here we're still seeing Leo trying to get some value, and all of a sudden the Nuburak is in trouble. Well, scratch that, the Nuburak is dead. The cocoon on Rhaegar is great, but only if you can get a kill. The problem is, if your team dies all over the place, your opponent doesn't even need that, and the Ancestral came out in time. 3 heroes down, and Ryzing Gaming is ripping Epikk a new one in these fights. 7 kills against 4. Apparently they found their fighting spirit here after they got destroyed in game number 1, game number 2. Game number 3, a very different Ryzing Gaming presents itself in the game here. And yeah, it is a best of 5, so you need to win 3 in a row now if you are Ryzing Gaming. It's a tall order, don't get me wrong. But they've definitely proven in the past, especially against the meme machine, that they can always turn the series around. And now, of course, the question simply, can they do it against Epikk here? They have to start on Cursed Hollow, and so far it's looking good. Bottom of the map, still pressure. Abathur with the Symbiote is pushing this out the entire time as much as he can. But in the meantime, the map control goes to Ryzing Gaming. They're doing well here. We're still having 15, nearly 16 on the side of Ryzing. Obviously, what's also another added advantage for them is that in this particular scenario, they're having all the momentum in the world, and it's difficult for Epikk to take it back. Every fight that takes a long time is a disadvantage for Epikk, pretty much. Simply because they don't have a proper healer here. They rely on Medivh and they rely on Abathur. That can definitely work if you have a good setup. But it's still, yeah. The longer the game lasts, the more, the fight lasts, the more poke there is, the more your opponent will capitalize on having a sustainable support player or support character in their lineup. And now with 16 talents, as you can see here, we have Ignite, we have the Pyromaniac for cooldown reduction. There's so much damage that can be spread out by them that Epikk needs to get quick kills, and that can only happen, or mainly happen, through Greymane. And Greymane gets controlled quite nicely. That's where the CC again comes into play. You have, of course, the gravity lapse, you have the stuns on Carrigan, and there's just too much for them to handle. It's a tribute for a tribute so far, and now with another one spawning, it's only lead that will be taken. I could even see Epikk not even fighting for this. They're close to 16, but they're not there yet. Well, to be fair, 16 seconds. Didn't even see the timer there. Should be having their 16. The only question is, are they really going to make the play there? Medivh, of course, just sitting there the entire time, scouting everything out. There's a 16 talent right now. And there's the opportunity for a fight. But good zoning already happening right here early on. There's the portal. Could go. Nuburak low. Here comes Tali. Arthur's into the back line, benefiting from Medivh a lot. But just look at Nuburak. Nuburak is about to get wrecked here. The problem is Carrigan is suffering the same fate. She goes down. And there's the Ancestral on Kel'Thas. And Anub is down. So is Carrigan. Arthur's falls as well. And that's a dead Greymane too. They just don't have the damage output there. They're not able to get these kills. It's not enough. The trades are too bad. It's a 1-4-3 right now, and things are just not looking pretty. If you have a Medivh together with an Arthur's, one of the big advantages is that you can negate one of the biggest problems of Arthur's, and that's mobility. You can portal him right into the backline, and that's where we saw him the entire time. But they just have too much trouble keeping him alive here, and the rest of the team is getting wrecked in the meantime as well. Now we have 10 kills against 5, 18 against 16, 2 tributes against 1 again, and they're already making the play for the keep at the bottom of the map. Yes, granted, the heroes will be back in just a few seconds, but there's pressure at the top side right now. Abathur is trying to stop it with the symbiote, but there's currently a catapult. There's siege giants. Bottom has taken damage. They're not even pushing for it. They know that they're insanely far ahead. When you look here at the counter, that's 10 seconds. They can make that play now. It is a bit of a Captain Obvious move, though. So right now, they're just trapping. Not sure if they really make a commitment for it. But with Medivh, you can, without any problems and disadvantages, just scout that out. So Medivh is already moving in here. Yeah, Nubarak has already been scouted out. So has been Arthur's, and Greymane, the main damage dealer, gets flanked, is down before anything starts, and that is now the panic mode for Epikk. They can't do anything here. They can't do jack shit in this scenario. They have to run right away. They also sacrificed the copy on Abathur. That's a cooldown that has been burned too. Now we have the tribute spawning topside, which means, of course, that you can curse your opponent again. Well, unless Abathur burrows in and slugs the tribute away, which is happening. Still means that you're going to get the boss at the bottom of the map. Still going to get the boss. With Greymane down, there's no damage. There's absolutely no damage. You can't do anything around that. So now we're having the boss taken at the bottom of the map. 2 tributes against 2. But that boss is 100% going to get the bottom keep. Bottom keep is a goner. And now, of course, the question just simply is, how do you play it from here? Do you go top lane, take the second boss in 30 seconds? Do you just, before that, take the bruiser camp away? You can go through the wave here even. And keep in mind that they are so close also to level 20 that if they stall this out a little bit and take the boss then, they will have Storm Talents as they push in and try and make the play for keep itself. So there is just a ton of stuff here that they can do. Yeah, boss is on the way to the keep. I mean, I was actually thinking if they pushed it out earlier, they might have been able to save the keep, but they're already realizing it's not happening. So instead, they're just sacrificing the keep, sacrificing maybe even a little bit of core damage. Abathur did not take Mule, by the way, just highlighting it because he doesn't have an opportunity to heal up the core here. It's actually huge. So, yeah, we don't have that. But yeah, keep is about to go down. But the fight at the top lane, that's all that matters for now, because that tribute is for all the marbles. That's a curse right there. And yeah, mid lane is pressured now in the meantime too. Leo just died. Okay, that's at least something. So Leo ghosting a little bit too aggressively. So even with a level 20 talent, Blank just made it so they can't contest it. That's going to be a curse. Curse against the blue team. Shouldn't do too much. That boss is still hammering away, by the way. That boss is getting a lot more damage onto that core than I thought. Okay, 10%. It's not too bad. But yeah, Blank dying there the way he did, I mean, that shouldn't have happened. That kill came kind of out of nowhere. That's a kill that should not happen. But the question is it really going to be of consequence? And the answer is very likely that's not going to be the case. It helps Epikk to catch up, that's definitely true. But they don't have 20 yet, and Leo can always force the fight with a Buried Alive, and they're always really forcing it right here. You burn on the cocoon, here comes Leo. And obviously he doesn't have Buried Alive because he has much of the Black King. I'm the entire time waiting for it and I don't see it. I'm just like, what is he doing? And it's like, wait a second, there's something missing here. Yeah, right. So instead he went into Hardened Bones. But now that there's a lot of cooldowns burnt, I mean, they just saw Army being used, they just saw Cocoon being used, so they're simply saying, you don't have Storm Talents yet, you just burned 2 cooldowns, have fun contesting us at boss. And obviously they have to contest. There's a fort falling in the middle, but yeah, there's the stuns. The copy on Abathur, nearly down, drops. And now they're trying to make the play for a Nubarak. Not only him, Arthur's, everybody's low. Everybody on the side of Epikk is low at this point. They lose a Nubarak. There's even more damage thanks to Khaldor's onto Kupshi, but obviously with the boss now about to be grabbed, this is looking really grim for Epikk. They had a good run so far, 2 wins in a row. But now Ryzing Gaming wants to turn this franchise around and wants to make sure that they are going to be the victor of the Division 1 Cup. They have to do a lot more than only win Cursed Hollow, though. They have to make sure that they're winning another 2 in a row. But at this point, yeah, the keep about to fall already way before the boss is even there. And with the bottom keep taken down, the top keep eliminated, siege giants, catapults pushing in, the boss coming through. I mean, there is no way at this point, even with level 20 talents that Epikk now has, to defend this. It's just not happening. Especially look at the damage here set up here. Kerrigan gets healed by the Ancestral, Born is low, gets saved by Medivh, but barely gets away, won't be able to contribute anything meaningful here anymore. Kupshi himself is low, and there's the Phoenix on the ground too. This is Ryzing Gaming winning Cursed Hollow and putting their name onto the scoreboard here. Nice job by them, and that brings us into game number 4. Game number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Ryzing Gaming needs to win 2 in a row if they want to win the series. And they decided that their hail to fame lies in the Butcher. To the left, Dagbar on Rhaegar. We have Zotti on Zeratul for Ryzing Gaming. Kastarad on Muradin. We're seeing a blank on the Butcher. Oh, fresh meat. And Kragoral on Greymane. And on the right side, still in the lead in the best of 5 here, the grand final, we have Epikk with Kupshi on Karazim, Born on Thrall, Zervas on Hanzo, Wit on Anuburak, and we're seeing Tali on Dehaka. Time to shine, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Butcher time. Level 1 for him. We see Chop Meat. Helps him a little bit with the clear here, for sure. And in the meantime, interesting again, Third Wind versus Storm stacking or Stormbolt stacking here for Muradin. These days we're actually seeing a few players start to return to Third Wind again, especially when the opponent has a lot of poke. We have a Nuburak for heavy engage on the other side. And keep in mind that a lot of this, what we're seeing here, is super aggressive once again, especially when you're looking towards Karazim with a 7-sided as a potential. Nice Stormbolt, good follow-up there. But nobody that really had the damage here right away. So that wasn't really too bad. 4 stacks already for Thrall too. Beetle builds. Okay, Legion of Beetles on level 1, getting the extra spell armor in there too. Now, if I didn't expect one thing, then it was a Beetle build. I'm really just curious to see how much he's going to focus into this one. Down to the bottom of the map, on the other hand, that's where the 3-man is currently is. We see a bit of a rotation between those heroes, also regards to the middle. Zeratul and Thrall are currently hopping in and hopping out. But the one thing that I still find is a bit interesting is the triple melee focus once more that we're seeing from Epikk. It's a bit similar to what we had in game number 1. Keep in mind, back then they played Anuburak, Thrall and Leoric. This time they replaced Leo with Dehaka. But it's still to an extent the same setup that they're running here. Even their backliner is the same. So they're playing it again with Hanzo here. So there is a lot of potential for stacked CC, but it's, yeah, there's definitely a pattern in terms of the way that they draft and that they play. They like to be aggressive, especially with Wit on the Nuburak, and then trying to get these setups. Talking setups, Wit's actually completely buried here. Then again, they're actually, he misclicked that a little bit, didn't go for the full duration on the burrow charge, didn't have any consequence, he was able to get away anyways, but still. Zeratul in the meantime gets attacked there too. Oh my god, Zeratul actually goes down. And that's bad because that's more baseline for the Butcher. So Butcher in... sorry, of course not because it's a 2 versus 1, but that was somehow Born getting the kill against them. I'm not quite sure how exactly that came to pass. Did they just gank Thrall and then lost one hero in the 2 versus 1? Did that just really happen? Like, I was heavily confused by that, to be honest. That's one of those things where you look at the minimap and nothing should happen there, and all of a sudden it's a kill like, wait, what? Sounds like Zeratul got a little bit baited there. Either way, we have now 1 kill for the red team. Epikk already with a kill as a start. Triple Alder now on the map. And with that, we're having, at the bot lane, probably... I mean, this is where you would expect a fight, but right now, that doesn't really seem to be the case, unless he's able to delay that. And... oh, yeah, he is. Hanzo barely able to pull that off. Top lane gets exchanged, top left, top right. Down here, it's the big fight happening, especially them going, oh my god, that drag! Greymane, but Thrall is low and goes down, and Greymane survives. Wow, Ryzing Gaming with a kill, but there's the fresh meat, and the Butcher, he wants it all. Now Zeratul goes down, but so does Anuburak. Butcher is currently sitting at 66 stacks, taking it slow here. By the way, we're actually seeing right now Muradin with 12 stacks. That isn't bad at all, considering that we're 3 minutes into the game. That's pretty decent. Now, the one thing to still consider here is that when it comes to shots against the core, it was actually Epikk that got the altar at the bot lane. There's a lot of late game potential for the setup that we see from Ryzing Gaming. I mean, just imagine a level 16 with a stacked Butcher and, yeah, Zeratul with a Void Slash. That's like a lot of really, really good damage that we have on their side and setups. But of course, they need to stack those meat stacks on the Butcher and also have Zeratul deliver in the late game. And it's not going to be easy, especially when you have that potential 7-sided with Isolation then later on coming through. There's definitely a lot of kill potential from Epikk where they could try and shut that down. But Ryzing Gaming is playing this so far quite well. They keep blank on the solo lane, they keep it very safe. They just need to make sure that he doesn't fall here, that he at no point gets ganked and those meat stacks get taken away from him. He's sitting at 88, which isn't too bad. Goes into the Onslaught build here with a meat shield on 7. A lot of spell armor definitely involved here, and for him that's going to be super important, especially if 7-sided is going to be played here. But well, with that said, here comes again the meat at the bot lane. Butcher goes in, gets attacked, gets the quick cleanse though, and they go for Nubarak, and again a Nubarak is down. And the Butcher is stacking this very, very heavily right now. He's sitting at 115, we have 17 stacks already on Muradin. The stacking in general for Ryzing Gaming goes really, really well here. That's not too bad. There's one altar channeled. Greymin is going to get the second one through, and look at that, Ryzing Gaming. I want to call that comeback because they didn't really fall far behind or anything, but they are starting to take the lead here. And in the best of 5 series as a whole, it's definitely a comeback. It started on Cursed Hollow, and it starts to continue here on Towers of Doom. Control of the bot lane so far. A bit of a battle up here to the top. Butcher actually charging in to close the distance and get the experience and the meat stacks. And he's sitting at 125. Very rarely do we see a Butcher get value or even win, but if you can stack him and play the game safe up to the point where he has his quest completed, then there's definitely a lot of late game potential for him. And that's currently what Ryzing Gaming is banking for. Stormbolt this time missing. Play for Greymane. Doesn't quite work out. It's a double wolf action that we are seeing there, and immediately Rhaegar has his buddies back with a quick totem. Not quite sure who the alpha in that particular pack is, but it's probably Greymane. He's a bit of a badass. Level 10 abilities are in. Palm over 7-sided. So definitely with the Butcher in play, they're going to try and play this a little bit safer. Could have gone for attempts at isolation and 7-sided kills, especially when they can bait the Butcher in a little bit deeper, if that ever happens, but decided to play for the safer variation. Especially with the Butcher engage, and of course also Greymane's attempt to go for quick kills here. Lamb to the slaughter. And yeah, the stage is set. Bot lane. Altar, single on the map. And Butcher is already starting to rotate in. But again, he's sitting at 142 stacks, not really too much yet. Well, there we go. Greymane in the meantime, by the way, went in on level 7 straight into the Elixir. A little bit of a different setup than we usually see. We still have the commitment every now and then to the perfect aim. But that's still interesting to see him also commit to the level 7. Oh, that arrow didn't hit anything. Uh-oh, and here comes the Butcher. And the kill against Thrall. No, he actually survives. Oh, the 4-man void. The 4-man void, and they can't get anything out of it. Oh, God. Just imagine a Jaina there with the Ring of Frost. I can't believe that Thrall in the first place survived through all of this, and then they get a 4-man void off, and nobody has anything that they can contribute to get that kill. And now the red team just simply moves in and says, like, you know what, we actually like to take these altars. Let's grab this one and see how this goes. Jeez. God, imagine that void prison with a Jaina. The Ring of Frost right there. You wrecked the entire team with just one circulation of spells right there. And the Thrall surviving, I mean, that was really something. I feel they thought he was dead. I feel they thought, okay, he's dead anyways, let's try and get another kill. To be absolutely honest with you, I thought he was dead too, and by all means he should have been. I mean, he should have been dead right there. And then Kharazim gets the heal through. So yeah, nicely done. Bit of a problem here in the communication from Ryzing Gaming for sure. Now we have the aggression down at the bottom, and that is a massive push. And keep in mind, with the Nubarak, you have the beetles spawning the entire time here. They soak up the damage. That's an easy... That could be an easy bell tower here if they commit. But they're a little bit afraid of that Zeratul rotation. I mean, for good reason. But halfway through with the damage output, that ain't too bad. So we're at least able to get that. But again, if you have an Uberak, you can of course just like dive this so much harder. Talking about diving. Zeratul, you couldn't target him while he's invisible, but you could tell that Zoti all of a sudden was sitting there and saying like, I don't want to be here. Trying to get away, didn't want to blink because it would reveal him. Yeah, that works. But well, for now, both of them looking at 13 talents. Only Zeratul died so far on the blue team. Damage output for Hansa, as you would expect, 19,000 Greymane. Butcher himself doesn't really have a whole lot, didn't contribute a lot in the fights anyways, but he's now at 176 stacks, so we're getting there. We are definitely getting there. Alright, channels so far, happening on both sides from the offlaners. Starting to get that in. 13 is ready for the red team. And we're going to have it any moment also for the opponent. But as you can imagine, so far an even exchange. Both of them on 24 points on that core. And Uberak dives out again. Damage poke is there. 176 stacks still for the Butcher, who's still at the top against the Haka. And he's just waiting for those stacks to come in. I mean, he just gets one wave after another. If he completes all of that, including the ones that he just had, that's another 10. And he is slowly getting to a point where he's about to complete that. 16 versus 16, that brings us also now into the brutal strike. Really wants to have those that auto attack damage in. And Murden, of course. I mean, talents are pretty much normal for most of them here. We have a couple of adjustments. We talked about the Butcher also with a few of his, but outside of that, we're still seeing the Echo of Elements here. Thunderstorm probably in 16. Arrow at the bottom, and yep, that's the kill against Zeratul. He gets the Void Prison off just before the final engage happens, but the Arrow of Hansa alone was able to take Zeratul down. Him lurking around and trying to set up an opportunity backfired this time. He gets sniffed out again. We've seen this actually a couple of times already, that Epikk was looking for these moments. And now Epikk is starting to gain some momentum. I mean, they're sitting here with half a level lead. We're having at the bottom of the map now still the defense of that bell tower, but this is still tricky. Butcher is at 196 right now. He is getting really close, and he's going to complete it. And yep, there we have it. 11 minutes in, and he completed his quest. So now no risks of him losing anything here. Zeratul, by the way, died now 3 times. All 3 deaths on the blue team are from Zeratul. And this is not necessarily because of him. I actually think Epikk is doing, as I said before, fantastic when it comes to them controlling his movements. But now we have 2 altars on the map, top left, top right. That's usually an even exchange, with the third one spawning here in the middle. And yep, that's 5 shots against 3, and now here comes the big battle around the mid lane. And who's gonna get the kill there? They're trying to make the play for Greymane. Early Ancestral, very early Ancestral. A little bit of a panic there. And Uberak with a cocoon. Big arrow. And again going for Khaldor. Butcher straight in the backline. Zeratul dead again for the 4th time. And Thrall walks away. You got to be shitting me. The Butcher goes down, and for some reason Thrall just always walks away. He's 1 auto attack from dying and just walks away. Next fight happens, same thing again. He's just 1 hit away from finally falling, and he just simply says, nah, don't feel like it today, and walks away from it. And Zeratul is simply getting dumpstered on in this game. Not a good game for him, having a lot of problems here, getting controlled really well by the opponent. 16 talents are now in, seeing actually the Alpha Wolf even used against Muradin. And yeah, things are starting to get really ugly. Push in the mid lane, push in the top lane, heavy pressure against all of the bell towers. And right now, with a 2-level lead, a 5-3 kill lead, we're seeing Epikk making a big argument for them winning this game, this series, right here, right now, and crown themselves the champions of the Division 1 Cup. Butcher at the top lane, trying to take down Tali. Very unlikely to happen. He's able to move out, but down at the bottom of the map, we are still seeing that back and forth around the mercenaries that nearly made it through. But yeah, 14 points on the core against 21. That's what we're currently seeing here. 14 against 21. Born still rushing around. And Uberak hasn't made a choice yet on 16, which I personally find a little bit odd. I mean, Epicenter is such an amazing talent that I personally would always go for it. It's just insanely good. 42,000 damage on Hanzo, 28,000 on Greymane. Butcher now, of course, contributing a little bit more in the damage department, but still a far cry away from being very high up on those numbers. Still outpacing Zeratul, but now as the 16 drops, that might even change, because that Void Slash should change a lot. If Zodi can stay alive here, he has been a priority target throughout most of these team fights, and he needs to be careful. Very careful indeed. Greymane with a play against Hanzo down here. Arrow hits the connect. Oh, nearly the kill there. Epicenter's finally been chosen. And Nubarak gets attacked as the Butcher moves in, but the Haka is there too and gets the isolation immediately on the Butcher. There comes the 3-man Void Prison. It's time for a kill, baby. But one channel through, 9 points on the core right now. Thrall is trying to come in from the side. Kupshi is low. Why do they never kill anybody? Finally, Zeratul gets the kill, but so does, well, Hanzo kills the Butcher. Oh my god. Zeratul down, Greymane down, and Nubarak dead, Karazim dead. Massive kills everywhere as we have the mercenaries moving through as well. One shot, make it 2, and we're down to 7 points on the core against 21. Before the entire fight has started in the first place, Thrall actually channeled the altar through, and this is just absolutely insane. They were fighting right on top of the bell tower, and that of course didn't help either. Boss is still up on the map and gets quickly scouted out here, but the situation is a tricky one for Ryzing Gaming. And the Butcher hasn't actually gotten any stacks since he completed his 200, so he didn't really capitalize on any hero that they killed. And they took a few down. I mean, you can see how his damage output is actually increasing pretty quickly. The same is true for Zeratul as well. Especially now after the level 16, Zeratul's Void Slash is doing a lot with it. And with 5 deaths, Zeratul at least was finally also able to get a kill himself. And it was about time, to be honest. But now we're having just a massive, massive advantage for Epikk. And again, they're making the play here. Good cleanse. Khaldor is able to move out. There's like a lot of plays that are currently being made by Epikk. They go for the engages all the time. In this case, Zervas didn't even use the arrow on Hanzo. Could have totally seen that happen as well. But now the altar is spawning in 10 seconds, and this is already nasty, because that's another 5 points off the core. If you're down to 2, that's a massive issue. There's the arrow, short distance. That didn't give a whole lot of value. And they go into Thrall's ult. Muradin is forced to drop the Avatar. Greymane and the Cocoon. Isolation. Here comes the Ancestral. Charge as the onslaught goes in. Well, the Butcher tries to be ruthless, but he can't do a lot here. Here comes the quick Void, but guys, I don't know about this one. They try to go for Karazim, and the palm is there. The palm is there. The Butcher with the damage, but is it going to be enough? Blank just doesn't get the kills. But he gets more damage now, and Greymane falls. But they get the channel. They get the channel. Blank is trying to get a kill here, finally. Can't, is in a corner, fully isolated. I mean, there is no one here to help him anymore. And he goes down. He was trying to go for a counter kill, but Born is simply unkillable. That's what it seems like. Oh my god, what? They killed Zeratul again, and Zervas, who was basically on negative hit points, got healed by Karazim in the last second. You got to be shitting me. Now we're having 4 points left on the core of Ryzing Gaming, and it seems like this is going to be game right here. Only 2 heroes are still on the field. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is just going to be it. We're going to have Epikk claim the best of 5 victory. Big battle up here. Muradin about to go down. Rhaegar in the Cocoon, and that is it. The Dwarf is dead, and so are the hopes of Ryzing Gaming turning this around. Epikk takes it with a 3-1 victory, the best of 5, and they crown themselves the Division 1 Cup champions. Congratulations, GG, and well played.